What is going on, people? You know what time it is. Another episode of Unfiltered, your way right here, right now. This one will go down in the books, episode number 263. In your scorecards, you can jump on board 24/7, 365. It is easy to get on board the Unfiltered Revolution. You can go to the artist formerly known as Twitter, X, if you will. Give me a follow at Casey Stern. Jump up into the bio and follow through to the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, tell your friends, and get on board all the content on the video side. 262 into 263 episodes. We've got rants and lists and interviews and guests and players and managers and all sorts of stuff from around Major League Baseball, and also some basketball and football and hockey and combat sports and all sorts of stuff, including some life pods there as well, which you can get. And of course, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else where most of you get your better podcasts. It's good to have you. Lot to get into. Garrett Cole avoiding Tommy John, at least for now. What does it all mean? Michael Kopech to the bullpen. Things for the White Sox continue to go south for their fans. They're not alone, but there are always turnarounds in the game. So who might be the team to make the biggest turnaround in 2024? I want your thoughts on that. Drop your comments below in the YouTube channel or on Twitter or X and let me know whether or not your team's got a chance to go ahead and turn that thing around and the beat around, if you will, in 2024. We're always happy to be here, and thanks in large part to our good friends at Bet Online. They're your number one source for all your sports betting needs. They got the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, basketball, boxing, golf, and more. They continue to be the fastest and easiest way to get all your wagers, live betting, favorite casino, and card games. They're all available to play right now, right from your phone. So do yourself a favor, get over the website, use your mobile device, sign up, get in on all the action. But remember to use this promo code. It's BELIEVE, BLEAV. It'll get you a 50% welcome bonus in your first deposit. It is Bet Online where the game starts as I get started here. Fresh off, we'll get to the White Sox in the real life. My son's White Sox getting a win in their season opener. Opening day for kids. If you're doing and coaching and a parent in Little League, it reminds you just the joy of the purity of the sport, something we forget when we're getting into all the pressures and the expectations and what we desire and what we deserve as fans of different teams. And Yankee fans will start there. They feel like they deserve finally to get a winner. It's been so long, and they deserve their team. And this version of the Steinbrenners and Brian Cashman to push this pedal, because Garrett Cole, while avoiding Tommy John for now, is going to be out for quite a while. News came out yesterday after going out west to visit the famed doctor Neil Elatrosh that he is not going to need Tommy John surgery as of now, which is a great report, and that is a positive thing. But our buddy Mark Feinsand reporting that their hope, the hope, and by the way, the hope doesn't mean the expectation. The hope doesn't mean the estimate. The hope doesn't mean the diagnoses. The hope doesn't mean the determination of Dr. Elatrosh. It means the hope. That's the best case scenario, is that he's back to the rotation in 10 to 12 weeks. For those of you not great at math, that's somewhere in the 2.5 to 3 month range. That is a long period of time. And that's the best case scenario for a guy who threw 39 pitches total in spring and is going to need a lot of time to ramp up. So he may not throw for, let's say, they say he's down a month or whatever the case may be. It may 6 weeks, whatever it's going to be. Then it's going to be time to get him ready. He doesn't have any time to get ready because he only threw 39 pitches in the spring. So Garrett Cole going to be gone 2 to 3 months. You start doing the math of where you're at, we might not see him till the All-Star break for who knows. And by the way, if this conservative, take on avoiding Tommy John doesn't work, I hate to say this, I'm not putting it out there in the universe of the ether because this is what I want. Yankee fans probably thinking this, and I'm certainly not one of them. I'm not a Yankee fan, but you got to be thinking this too. How many times have we seen these guys try and avoid Tommy John, and eventually they end up there anyway? Now, you feel better after he visits the doctor, and especially this one, and telling you, okay, maybe you don't need Tommy John, but back in the rotation 2 to 3 months, that's a long period of time without Garrett Cole. Yankee fans, you got to be with me, I assume. You got to be banging that drum. It's not enough. Nasty Nestor Stroman behind Rodon is not enough. Got to get it done. Have to find a way to go get Snell, go get Montgomery, do something to upgrade the rotation. What do you want to see if you're a Yankee fan? Clearly, that thing will not be Dylan Cease. he already, and he posted a video yesterday that I retweeted out or reposted. I'm sorry, it's X, it's not Twitter, whatever, that I put out there that he's on his way to go overseas to go play some baseball with the San Diego Padres. Very happy to do that with his new team. But his old team, the Chicago White Sox, is not having as good of a time. And, I can go back to what they were and what they were supposed to be. And then, I hate to go into the Tony La Russa hire, which didn't make any sense to anybody and just imploded in every which way, shape, or form. This fan base has got to be driven nuts for I don't even know how long. But now in the latest of just a million scenarios that seem to go the other way, they finally have to move Cease. They got to deal him. And it makes you look at kind of where the team is, and it's not very good. And it hasn't been very good for Michael Kopech. He'll be out of the bullpen instead of the starting rotation. He said, quote, "It's not my first choice or where I want to be. I like starting, and I had success in that role," talking about relief. Well, he certainly hasn't had success in the starting role. He went 5-12 with a 5.43 ERA last season and has not looked good this spring either. And boom, out to the bullpen. The news continues to get bad for the Chicago White Sox. If you're a White Sox fan, I don't know. I don't even know what the advice is. You seek lots of therapy to try and deal with what it's been like to be a fan of that team. What an absolute disgrace over the years they have become. And how many disappointments that fan base has had to deal with. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers have not had to deal with as many disappointments, clearly. It hasn't been that bad for them. It's been really good. It's been overachieving. It's been stories of nobody thought we'd be here, but you all must have forgot. But now, what's it been like if you're a Brewer fan the last couple of months? Craig Counsell gone. And by the way, right in division with the Cubs, who continue to seemingly get better and more prepared like the Reds do to beat you and become more prepared like the Cardinals are trying to beat you, to put you down to the bottom of the division versus at the top. And it is cyclical sometimes this way. And I remember talking to Dick Williams at the time when he was the GM with the Cincinnati Reds, and he was talking about during spring training, I was asking him about why there was seemingly such a punting that the Reds were doing at the time. And he said to me, he said that this division and this sport right now is very cyclical on what he called like a 5-year window where, you build, you get there, you get to the top, and then other teams are just more ready than you are. You can't really push the pedal financially, so you back up, you go back to the bottom, and you build again. Well, Devin Williams having the stress fractures in his back and expected to miss 3 months is not going to help. After, of course, losing Corbin Burns, who's now in Baltimore. After, of course, losing Craig Counsell, who is now with the Chicago Cubs. If you're a Brewer fan, my oh my. But as things go down, something must come up. It's like the Even Steven episode of Seinfeld. $20 out the window, boom, somebody bringing it in the door. And that's where turnarounds come from. We mentioned Burns. Hey, where were the Orioles? They were dealing with the doldrums that a lot of these teams are facing. They were feeling that pain the White Sox fan is feeling for I don't even know how many years, but they were patient. And now look where they are with Corbin Burns added to a team that already was the best in the American League East and should have pushed the pedal further a year ago. Should have gone with the prospects are cool, parades are cooler at the deadline more than they went. No disrespect to Jack Flaherty, but going and aiming higher and higher than that, and they didn't do so. Well, they did it in the offseason, and they bring in Corbin Burns, and now, boom, away you go. The Orioles, to me, some people even disrespected. Everybody talking about, the Texas Rangers, and look, they're going to be great again. Boch is Boch, and the team, it is difficult to repeat. Whether they're able to get Montgomery and file him back in or not, it is difficult to go repeat in this sport. It's what's made so special what the Astros have done, being in a position to do so for so many LCSs in a row, and the Astros going to be really good, and we know that too. But there is no reason why the Orioles can't be the favorite in the American League, and look at where they were a few years ago. Look at where the Diamondbacks, who were just in the World Series 1 year ago, were 2 years before that. Go look at their record in 2021 to where they were in 2023. I remember sitting there. We used to have Torey Lovullo, who was a weekly guest of mine on my radio show for years. We had a weekly spot with him, and they had gone through some stretch. Don't quote me on the numbers, but it was something, and I maybe like 3-27, like something nuts like that in like 30-game stretch. They didn't win anything. And I started and became a running joke that every time he would come on SiriusXM on the show, I would open up with some kind of a joke or something to make him laugh because I felt bad for him having to be discussing how bad that team was. And 2 years later, look where they are now, coming off being in a World Series. What team do you think can make that turnaround this year? Not going to be the Mets. I know Met fans hope that it is. Jose Quintana named opening day starter. Tell me what your team's not going to be without telling me what your team's not going to be. And look, I like Jose Quintana. He's a good pitcher. He's a good arm to have in a rotation. He's been consistent for a long time, speaking of the White Sox, since going way back in the Win machine. But Jose Quintana is starting opening day because Senga's hurt, because the Verlander and Scherzer thing didn't work out, because you missed out on Yamamoto despite offering $320 million, and away you go. That's why you're getting pumped up at Buto and what he's doing in spring training. And albeit, I hope that that's real, but let's just be fair. And let me be honest with you, and this is not pessimism, the Mets are not going to be very good. They're just not. And they're probably, if they're not very good, going to be sellers at the deadline. But I enjoy watching. A lot of them are friends and people who do content and people who cover the team and getting all excited. But tell me who you really are without telling me who you really are. And Jose Quintana starting opening day for you. Hi. Not the case for the Braves, who are at the top of that division. They bring back Adam Duvall yesterday. He'll platoon with Kelenic, and he's going to get some time. Only a $3 million deal, but we know the successes and the big moments he's had with that franchise. Look, I live in Atlanta. They are being disrespected a bit as well because of what the Dodgers have done, and Yamamoto has looked the filth, right? Give him some runs last spring training outing, but the filthiness is still what it is. And if he can hone that in and figure it out regiment-wise and everything else between starts, during starts, the big league level, he's going to be a pitcher for a long time if he could stay healthy. We know what Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and all those guys are, despite the fact that Lux can't throw to first and Betts is playing short and yada, yada, yada. We get it. But the Braves have every reason to believe that they could still be the best team in the National League. They got the best player coming off of last year. And they got depth for days. I mean, how many years in a row does it? They can lose. Oh, well, Max Fried, maybe he's going to go. So what? We'll just bring in the next three guys because Alex Anthopoulos, the executive of the year, executive of the last decade, what he has done with this team, him and his staff, brilliant. The kind of deals that they put together, how they have saved money, how that has enabled them to go ahead and build and put themselves in position to again and again and again win, because you're not trying to win for one season. You're trying to have a chance to win every season, and the Braves are going to have a chance for a long time to win every season. But who can make the turnaround? Let me know. You're always winning here. It's Unfiltered. We'll let you know. Have a great weekend. Unfiltered, as always, presented by our good friends at BetOnline.